come back, we're going swimming. So, tell everybody thank you, Kirill. Скажи, дякую.
Дякую.
Не, английский.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, что? Very much. Еще раз.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Future president of Ukraine right here. All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for being here on this Wednesday afternoon. It is Battle Flag Wednesday, and we have a lot of things to talk about. Specifically, we're going to be focusing on President Volodymyr Zelensky delivering the victory plan and the repercussions that have already started to come out from that. So tonight we're going to talk about it. I'm going to do a poll and we're going to give a battle flag. So we're going to start that countdown in just a moment, but I want to say welcome to everyone here. Thank you. I do not know why the Nightbot is acting goofy tonight. So I'm going over to the mod chat, you guys, right here. In the mod chat, I put the link, BB and Dunk and whoever else is in here modding. If you would help me with that, you can just share that. It's linked for you there. So thank you guys for being here. Gonna be good. I'm actually going to do a poll tonight. I'm new at this stuff, so I'm not really a poller, but we're going to do a poll. We're going to do a pollster. We're going to do some polling tonight, and it's going to be one question, and I'll put that up in just one moment. There, Nightbot woke up. Well, y'all try the flag command there, guys, and see if it works. If not, you have the link. Let me start with this. Today, if you're here and you're new and you do not know what's going on, this is a battle flag day. We're going to give away a battle flag, and it's 5:18, so probably about 6:15 we'll give the flag away. Let me go to a different camera shot here. Let's go wide. This is the battle flag. This flag was actually on the 0 line. You can see it is signed, autographed by Fish, their art drawing of Taras Shevchenko. And this was actually done on the 0 line in the bunker. So we give these away once a week, once every 10 days. And I'll remind you guys more about that in just a few minutes. So thank you. To do that, all you have to do, Nightbot's working now. Yes, thank you. Nightbot was snoozing on us. All you have to do is click the link. It will be posted in the chat. Our mods will take care of that. Or there is a pinned link in the chat. You click on that, put your name or your YouTube handle, whatever you want to be called by, and your email address. At the end of the program, about 55 minutes from now, I'll spin the wheel and somebody will win a flag. I will then email you. You send me your postal address and it's in the mail to you tomorrow. Will not share your email addresses or anything of that nature. So thank you for all that you guys do. Let's do this. I think, though, let me get this straight. I think Chris Lundy, sorry, Nightbot and I were out late last night. That's pretty good. Then Dick Dawson must have been there as well. Chris, I know you do a lot of help for Dick Dawson, so I threw that in there. Now, I think if I put a poll question in there and pin it, then my registration pin for the flag will go away. I'm not sure about that. So if that happens, mods, thank you for continuing to talk about the flag. And if you're here and you want a shot at winning the flag, we're already up to 40 people registered. Continue to register for it, and we will spin the wheel at the end. You must be present to attend in like 2 minutes to respond. Now, let's get to it. I think my watch is talking to me. Let's get to this. How about a different patch tonight? So guys, this patch right here I'm showing you on purpose tonight is the Kamenets Podolsky. territorial defense patch. Super, super patch there with the Wolverine. Part of the 87th, defending Ukraine. Kamenets-Podolsky Territorial Defense. Where are these guys fighting? On the front line somewhere. And defending. This Kamenets-Podolsky group is from the west central region of Khmelnytsky. They're from the Khmelnytsky region. So this patch right here is one legit patch. One of the things I like about this patch is the shape. You know, it's more in an oval. And then, of course, the color scheme with the black and the green, the white, and, of course, the logo there with that Wolverine or Badger. That is one bad group. And I will tell you, this is an incredible group of heroes fighting there. So we're thankful to them. And that's the patch of the night. Now, let's get going on the update. We're going to discuss Ukraine's victory plan. There are 3 or 4 other things that I want to discuss as well. Before we do that, let me do this. Johnny, my friend, thank you for that 2222. There's meaning behind that. Norwegian krone or Swedish krones. Thank you. NOK, Norway, Sweden. From Johnny, Sweden. Johnny, is that Sweden or Norway? Regardless, it's Johnny N, the legend, who is on an island. I do know that. So thank you for that so much, my friend. Additionally, let me grab these other ones right quick. Papa Dutch, too, thanking, hello, everyone, and Sim Privit. Perfect, Papa Dutch, except here is your Ukrainian lesson for today. At the end of Privit, you do not need the E. So we will go with VSIM, sim, meaning, hey, everybody, Privit, which means hello. Take off the E, sim Privit. Everybody's learning Ukrainian tonight. $5 super chat from Papa Dutch. I believe that we are Earthlings. That's all. Oh, and if you meet someone from anywhere else, please let someone know. I'm pretty sure out in Area 51, they have a collection of aliens. $5 Papa Dutch pulls the Hope Train whistle to see if we have steam pressure yet. How about this Hope whistle?
Slava Ukraini.
Additionally, I see in here tonight Petter Olsen with the Swedish non-smoking initiative. Thank you for that. Papa Dutch pulls the Hope Train. Johnny N gifting the memberships. Dunk on you, $20. Slava Ukraini, don't forget to enter the battle flag giveaway. Thank you for that. Dunk on you gifting the 10 memberships. Papa Dutch, if you take every single blonde joke you ever heard and substitute Nightbot for blonde, that would be where we're at tonight. Although finally Nightbot woke up. Sweden, I think he has confirmed now. Johnny, thank you for that as well, my friend. This is going to be really, really good tonight, guys, and thank you for being here. Last reminder, and then I'm going to focus on sharing the news with you, and we're going to do a poll tonight. Mods will take care of reminding you in the chat, battle flag, battle flag, battle flag. If you want a chance, register. We'll spin the wheel here in a little bit. All right, let's jump right in. Number 1. Before I talk about Zelensky, I want to talk about the fall of 2024. You can see there that I have the image shadowed back of Peter Pavel. Once again, I know it's like beating a dead drum, and maybe sometimes you guys might get tired of hearing it, but you need to not grow tired of hearing it. Blonde Bombshell are giving a message out. I need to get this before it gets past me. Well wishes to Zhenya, crew member for 7 months. Thank you very much, BB. Peter Pavel, once again, I'm going to stick with it because it's truth. The most difficult phase of the war in Ukraine and international geopolitics will be the fall of 2024. Here we are now on October the 16th, 2024. We're fully moving into the autumn season. What is happening? The United States election, of course, first and foremost. Today, the public unveiling of President Zelensky and the victory plan as he delivered the speech in the Verkhovna Rada. and we will go over the 5 points of that. And we are already getting in response from the United States and from NATO, and I will share those with you. This fall, the weather is changing. Russia is moving. Tonight, I will not be looking at the front lines specifically, but I can tell you down towards Pokrovsk, we're getting into a little tight little area where Russia is moving closer to a tremendously large coal producing plant. It's on the outskirts of Pokrovsk, and it's now in their sights. We'll talk more about that later. I'll show you exactly where it's at, and it's under assault. For the graphic on the right, for 2 months, the Russians have captured 5.5 times more territory than in 2023. And the chart here comes directly from Ukraine, and there is a breakdown by the territory that they have taken in square kilometers month by month. You can see January and February, March, April, May, June, and then starting in July, 177 square kilometers, then 356, and then 467.7 square kilometers. The number of combat clashes increased by 17.6% in September over August. Almost 18% more direct confrontations of combat. The gray on the left, 145 or 48. My eyes aren't the best at that distance. Square kilometers were captured in all of 2023 in general between the give and take. And we're seeing a significant change to that. Johnny now coming in. I'm Norwegian, proud to be Sweden's neighbor. There you go. Thank you, Johnny, for letting me know that. I've got it in the memory banks now. Johnny the Norwegian. I've got it. So with all of that said, the front is difficult right now. Kursk, Ukraine still holding, still doing their work. Russia defending. Today, I don't want to take away from President Zelensky's statements, because I know that a lot of you have probably watched the translated speech, the English subtitles. Great. It was a good piece. I'm not playing that for you tonight because I'm sure that if you have a desire to see that, you've probably already watched that on UATV, but I am going to give you the 5 key points. And most importantly, I'm going to share with you a clip that you may not have seen. And that is actually Podolyak talking about Zelensky's victory plan and giving a little bit of clarifying and understanding as to what President Zelensky is meaning. So Podolyak, one of the advisors to the office of president. So we'll get to that in just a minute. Let's do this. Energy infrastructure right now. Just a couple of things before we get to Zelensky. 0 is the magic number. You may or may not understand what that means, but I'll explain it to you. The temperature. Ukraine coming out right now, as of this moment, and saying, if the weather and the temperature is above 0, then we will most likely at this point, no further damage, no further shelling, no further destruction of our electrical infrastructure. We can hold power because of the repairs we have made. If the temperature goes below 0, for those of you in the United States, that would be below 32 Fahrenheit, then we will be rationing power. So right now, 0 is the magic number. Ukraine entering into the season where they're seeing the dipping towards zeros, early frost season in western and central Ukraine. It will be pushing to the east. But we still have a few weeks until we'll get some solid 0 numbers. So okay right now, but as of today, October the 16th, 0 is the magic number. Ukraine is preparing the energy sector for winter and strengthening air defenses in the border and frontline regions to assist in defending the energy infrastructure. Directly from Zelensky today. Energy engineers are working on creating a decentralized network of power generation facilities. This is a good thing. They're trying to disconnect regions from each other to the best of their ability. So, for example, let me tell you what happened today. And they're even reaping the results of this right now. Mykolaiv was hit with 5 S-300 missiles. Mykolaiv was hit with 5 S-300 missiles. Electrical infrastructure was damaged. Okay? Kherson lost power. In fact, let me do this and this may be easier. Let me show a map just so we'll understand what we're talking about here. Let me change this from the topo map. So, Mykolaiv was hit with S-300s. You'll see it like this, C-300, if you're an English speaker, but it's actually, the C is an S. So S-300 hit Mykolaiv, 5 of them. But what happened? It actually affected Kherson. Kherson, they're getting it back online now, was completely de-energized. 100% of all power went out in Kherson because of where the infrastructure was hit in Mykolaiv. So what that means is Ukraine is trying to, and it's not going to be easy, but to the best of ability, they're trying to disconnect how some of these systems are interconnected so that if Mykolaiv is hit, Kherson's not in the dark. And that's not to say, well, if Mykolaiv gets hit, Mykolaiv's in the dark. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is Ukraine is trying to separate their energy grid to the point where direct attacks will have less effect on other regions. So that's what we're talking about there. It's very, very weak system right now because of the interconnectivity, and Ukraine working to get that changed. So that actually good news. Now, you guys know for the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks, I nonstop talk about paved roads. I think even last night on End Time News there with Nick, and I want to say had a great time last night on End Time News there with Nick. If you did not see that, please go to his channel, subscribe to it, check it out. It was a great interview. We were talking. Papa Dutch, thank you for the 5. Imagine a house where every single room is on the same circuit breaker. If there is a problem anywhere, good luck with that. Dunk on you coming in. Let me share this right now. A member, Janine Terblanche, has an urgent need to leave Ukraine for a family emergency in South Africa. You can help her get there at, and 2 links. Let me do this and how about this? Dunk, can you do me a favor? Can you send me the 2 links in Discord, please? I'll pin them. Let's help out Janine tonight, guys. If you can, let's try and help Janine with the family emergency. She's been serving in Ukraine. So this is how we help each other. So you guys know that we have been talking nonstop. I have been talking nonstop about paved roads. What you are looking at on the screen is Russian television. I took a screenshot. You are seeing a news program, the screenshot of it, the news program. The map on the right is where they are discussing the Kursk offensive of Ukraine, where they're having to defend. I watched that program, and the bottom of it is just talking about Army of Russia. Actually, there it's talking about Krasny Yar, and it's talking about Donetsk People's Republic, but they're talking about Kursk. They're talking about the whole front lines. Just analysis, a program. Do you know what the number 1 topic was? Paved roads. I'm trying to emphasize to the best of my ability that we cannot look back and compare Ukraine moving into the winter, October of 2023, to October 2024. It's not possible. First of all, we've given up a little bit more land, but in the places where Ukraine is holding, there are key transit routes. We talk about them quite often, specifically in the south. Pokrovsk to Konstantinivka, the road to Karakova. And for those of you guys that are new, let me just do it this way so you understand what I'm talking about. This is good right here. Here's Karakova, big battle. Here's Pokrovsk, big battle. Here's Konstantinivka. Here's Toretsk. Okay. There are only, oh man, hit the wrong button. Toretsk, Konstantinivka, Pokrovsk, Karakova. There are only 2 key roads coming in, one from Zaporizhia and the other from Dnipro, down through Pavlograd into Pokrovsk. And then it continues on into Konstantinivka, and it continues on down towards Donetsk. That's it. And this is just the southern front. Are there little teeny little paved roads through here? Yes. Very, very limited and in very, very poor condition. The key roads are these 2 blue roads. And it was interesting to me today that on the Russian television, and if you wonder, why are you watching that? Well, so I can educate you what they're talking about, and educate myself. I want to know what they're talking about. I want to understand their viewpoint so that we know how to fight against it. But they were talking about the struggle with paved roads. So this is a real deal. And as we know, we're moving into the winter. The war pace will slow down. It becomes a continued artillery, drone, and missile and air war. But as far as the groundwork, it will slow down due to the ability of people to move. Let me go over here and grab this. Here you go, sir. All right. Thank you. I'm going to put in Janine's links into the chat right now and pin it. And here we go. Mod, you guys just keep pushing the flag through regular chat. I've pinned the links. If you guys are here and you want to help Janine tonight, please, those 2 links will be very appreciated. Rammstein update. For this one, I have a question. Maybe you guys know more than I do because I've been focused on Zelensky, but this is coming out today from Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. The meeting of the leaders of the countries in the Rammstein format will take place next month, according to White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. And it was recently postponed due to Hurricane Milton. So we know that, and we've discussed that, and it was the right call for President Biden to be here in the United States. We were dealing with a natural disaster, but we had no clarity when the next Rammstein meeting would take place, when Biden would be able to see Zelensky. There's 3 weeks of he's president until January. You know, you have the election, but we don't have the inauguration until January. So what is interesting for me will be this. Rammstein, according to the information, will take place in November. So President Biden will be going to that. He will still be the president of the United States even after the election. He will then be the lame duck before the next president is inaugurated, either Harris or Trump. That's the way American politics works. So it will be Biden going. Regardless, it will just be interesting, and we will be watching it and paying attention to it because a lame duck president will be at the Rammstein. And of course, Harris would 99.999% carry out and fulfill any promises that Joe Biden would make as the president in support of Ukraine. There's no question of that. And anything that President Joe Biden will discuss at Rammstein, we also know that most likely Donald Trump would do anything to destroy that. So that's what we're looking at, and that's why it's going to be interesting. Additionally, there is going to be some communication happening prior to the Ramstein between Zelensky and Biden. So these are good news, and it'll just be interesting for the Ramstein because once again, back to Peter Pavel, the autumn of 2024 is going to be very interesting. All right, guys, we're going to get into now the Zelensky victory plan. I'm going to leave the Janine links there for donating to her for another 10 or 15 minutes. If you're here and you would like to help Janine get back to South Africa, she's been working and volunteering and helping inside Ukraine, now needs to get home for a family emergency. And I know that people coming together, we can smash her need to help her. But if you're here and you're new, I've gained a lot of new subscribers this week. And if you're here and you're new, thank you. But about once every week or 10 days, I give away a battle flag. And this is the flag. I'll go wide angle here, guys. There it is. This flag, this is the last time I'll show it until the very end. Autographed on the front line, actually in the trench by Fish and his partner there. That's all I can say, the two of them. And his partner is an artist, and he drew a picture of Taras Shevchenko, and they autographed the flag right on zero. So if you're interested in winning this, it doesn't cost you anything. I'm not raffling it and trying to raise money. We raise money other ways. And I have some other flags over there in the future that we may raffle or do something. I also have, I keep this right beside me. Look at this. This is my Pete art. Yeah. Many people said, you know what, man, you need to like auction that. And not sure I can auction that one. That's very special to me. Yes, Andre Santos, I am going to do the poll. Annette letting us know, let Janine know that we're going to do our best to help. So thank you, everybody on the Hope Train. I mean, even if you hop in there and just, donate $10, $20, it'll be a huge help, and we'll just knock the need out so that she can take care of her family needs there in South Africa. So thank you. Now, I'm going to talk about Zelensky's plan and some interesting responses already. I'll give my opinion on one of them. The others I won't, and we'll also listen to Podolyak. Looking about 30 minutes before we're going to raffle off the flag. So here's where I want to begin. Kudos to President Zelensky for a great speech, for a great choice of words, for boldness like a lion. Thank you to President Zelensky for having a strong backbone, telling the truth, calling out nations that are waging war against Ukraine. The man did a phenomenal job. I want you to take note of a very important word, though. This is the victory plan, not the peace plan. Please, these are different. You guys remember peace meetings, peace plans, peace negotiations. There was one that was happening without Russia present. And then they said, well, the next one will have to have Russia there. And they were projecting maybe it could happen in the fall of 2024. This is not that. This is the victory plan. Darren Vaughn, you redneck. Love Greg. Where is your wife from? Darren, do you want to hit on my wife? He's from Virginia. Don't worry, guys. I'm just messing with Darren. Darren, she's from Virginia too. She's originally from Virginia. Let me grab Papa Dutch's here. Thank you, Papa Dutch. You just call upon a sister. We'll do what we can. We all need somebody to lean on. Papa Dutch. I think I need a recording, a Les Dawson recording, because it's just lean on me. I know that's what when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. Papa Dutch, I know you're happy now. Sing a little bit for you. So Important here, victory. We hear the word negotiations too often from our partners and not enough about the word justice. If I didn't show you anything else over the next 30 minutes, this is the most important slide I could show you tonight. We hear the word negotiations too often from our partners, and we're hearing about that more and more and more. It was just a week ago where Putin said, I'll not talk to Schultz. Schultz, I'll not talk to Putin. Today, there was reports out. Schultz is going to talk to Putin. Putin will talk to Schultz. What are they going to talk about? Well, I hope that Schultz will be bold as a lion and say, this is not how it's going to end, brother. We're standing against you. I don't know. I don't even know if that call will take place. But now the door's cracked open for Schultz to be talking to Putin. But we hear the word negotiations too often and not enough about the word justice. Direct quote from President Zelensky, 100% agree. Now, the victory plan. I'm going to go about 5 minutes more. Ballistic events. Schultz, bold as a lion. You're kidding. No, I'm not kidding. I'm dreaming. Ballistic events. Yeah, I get it. I'm just telling you what we need. Notice the peace plan mentioned 3 secret areas annexed. Do you think he's offering Donetsk, Lugansk in return for Crimea, Kherson, and Zaporizhia? Here's what I'll tell you. Lugansk is 99% occupied, 98.8, 99% occupied. There's one little sliver of Lugansk Oblast not occupied. Donetsk, I do not know the percentage exactly, but significant portion. However, Donetsk Oblast, we cannot lose Kramatorsk, Slavyansk, Konstantinivka. Zaporizhia Oblast is 70%. But you're talking about Zaporizhia city, so that's off the table. Actually, you know what? Podoliak's, let me answer that with Podolyak. In fact, thank you for the lead in. Let's go to Podolyak right now.
There's no Rasmussen or Kissinger formula. No such formulas exist, as the president noted. He clearly stated in his speech, as long as Russia occupies any Ukrainian land, our war isn't over. It continues in various forms, and then a hot phase resumes. It's quite specific. It's not just about, as the president has said repeatedly, liberating all territories militarily. It's about creating a plan to pressure Russia, creating conditions where Russia pays a steep price to stay.
So listen, you know what? I need to play that one more time so you guys hear it. This is what we're talking about for the next 30 minutes. So let me make it very clear for you. Let's go to this and let me pull out a little bit here. So we can see where Russia occupies. We all know it. Here's Crimea. I'm going to draw it in basics for you, but this is Kherson, Zaporizhia, and then Donetsk, Lugansk, and a little portion of Kharkiv Oblast. That's what we're talking about. Podolyak and Zelensky. We'll go to Zelensky first. No, no territory annexation, but full sovereign return of all of Ukraine. Clearly, at this point, Ukraine cannot push them out militarily. At this point, that doesn't mean in 3 weeks from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now. Today, October the 16th, Zelensky makes his victory plan public. Clearly, Podolyak says, Zelensky gets it. We can't push them out. But that doesn't change that all of Ukraine will be Ukraine. Remember what I was teaching you guys. Everywhere you go, on the front and throughout Ukraine, you see these bumper stickers Let me start with the bumper stickers first. It says, "Все будет Ukraina." "Все будет Ukraina." We'll translate that for you. All will be Ukraine. When you then are working on the front lines, and that, guys, is all of this. You see the blue I add? See, I'm a firm proponent and believer that it's not just here. It's not. And anybody that thinks, though, not thinking deep enough, it's also all of this. Chernihiv and Sumy and that northern western section of Kharkiv, DRG, artillery, shelling. It's just not drawn red. And honestly, if I was doing the map, the whole thing would be red on that border between Russia and Ukraine because they are working. The DRG comes across these borders daily, doing work, trying to disrupt Ukraine. It's a war zone. Of course, it's not exactly like this, but still, regardless, it's a massive war zone. All will be Ukraine. Let me erase this now and come back. You guys have learned the borders of Ukraine by now. But at the end of the day, what Zelensky said and what Podolyak reiterates is that all will be Ukraine. Can we liberate it all with military right now? No. But the victory plan would bring the steps that are needed for Russia to leave. That's what he's talking about, to leave. The only caveat I have with that is for this to never resurface again, Russia cannot just leave. They have to be defeated completely. And that will not happen only through a military action from the outside. That also has to happen internally inside of Russia, in Moscow, at the Kremlin. This mindset and this government monster that is created there under the dictatorship, let's call it for what it is, of Vladimir Putin, must be defeated, destroyed from the inside out. So the first thing is we need this to go the right way through military victory and through the steps that Zelensky offers. Russia leaves. But secondly, Russia must be defeated from within, external and internal. That's the only way that this does not rear its head again in 5 years and in 10 years. So let me play Podolyak again. Listen to what he's saying.
There's no Rasmussen or Kissinger formula. No such formulas exist, as the president noted. He clearly stated in his speech, as long as Russia occupies any Ukrainian land, our war isn't over. It continues in various forms and then a hot phase resumes. It's quite specific. It's not just about, as the president has said repeatedly, liberating all territories militarily. It's about creating a plan to pressure Russia, creating conditions where Russia pays a steep price to stay.
There you have it, guys. That's the clearest, and you probably, won't see Podolyak, but that's him today on the news in Ukraine explaining exactly what is meant and how it must go forward. Let me do this. Minister for the Recovery of Stolen Toilets. Okay, it ain't working for me. He's referring to super chats. Anyway, my government just gave 49 Abrams tanks to Ukraine. Yes, they did. And we're very thankful. Listen, nations are working, and we're thankful for it. The United States just detailing out more aid that is coming. And I'm not talking about that tonight. We're focusing on this. But nations are stepping up. Germany, Netherlands, other European nations coming together. It's coming. But we have a huge monster we're fighting. A huge monster. And today, President Zelensky made it very, very clear that we have a huge monster we're fighting. Now, step number one. The first is the invitation of Ukraine to NATO immediately. Now, Dunk or BB, if you wouldn't mind in the chat, please continue to post Janine's links so that we can help her. But I want to add now a poll question. I've never done that. We're going to start a poll. Well, I've done it one time. Okay, this is going to be a very specific poll question. It's going to be yes or no. And okay, I'm going to ask you guys tonight, 271 watching right now. Make sure you're signing up for the free flag raffle. Thank you for being here, sharing, liking, commenting, all of that stuff. You're helping us grow. I'm going to ask you tonight, over the next 15 or 20 minutes, to be 100% honest. In your opinion, do not answer this question with emotion. I'm going to ask you to analyze the news you see, the media you follow, your understanding of the war in Ukraine, your understanding of what is happening geopolitically throughout the world, all the things we're talking about, and answer this question without emotion. Okay? Here's the question. Do you think Ukraine will be invited to join NATO officially before December 31, 2024? Start poll. Okay. It left the link and the poll. All right. Please, if you're watching on TV, go in there and answer it. And I'm going to just let the poll run for a few minutes. We'll come back and look at it. So the first step of the plan is immediate invitation of Ukraine to NATO. Is that going to happen? Well, we'll see what your guys' opinions are. We're going to come back to that one in just a moment. Number 2, the second is defense. Increase domestic production and increase aid from Western partners. Number 2, 100% doable. Ukraine, first and foremost, is increasing domestic production. The domestic production of drones, the domestic production of long-range missiles, the domestic production of long-range strike drones. They are domestically producing and ramping up. Great. So the answer there, yes. Second part, an increased aid from Western partners. Ukraine has no control over that. We're thinking completely logical tonight. No emotion for a moment. Can Ukraine control their domestic production? 100% yes. Can they control increased aid from Western partners? No. But they can build the case, make the case, and then rely on that aid. But that aid must happen. The third, place on our land a complex, non-nuclear strategic deterrent package, which will be sufficient to protect Ukraine from any military threat from Russia. Is that doable? 100% yes. However, that coincides with victory, because for a complex and a system and a defense and a deterrent to be built in place, victory would have to be guaranteed and done. It's just, they dance together. The fourth, economic. The world must continue to place economic pressure on Russia, specifically limiting oil prices and exports. Is that doable? Remember, tonight, no emotion. Is it doable? Yes. Is it going to happen? Most likely not at this point. Why? Because the two most populated nations on the planet, China and India, are full-fledged business partners with Russia. I do not know exactly, but I know China's population is over 1 billion. I know that India's population is over 1 billion. And I am comfortable to say that at least 25% of the world's population is in India and in China. I'm confident I'm accurate in that, or close. You're talking about a lot of pressure that needs to come from those two nations. You see, the United States and Europe, when we speak point blank clear, can only exert X amount of pressure. We can pull out and stop doing business completely. And I know, the sanctions, they're being routed. The sanctions. I remember early in the war, for the first 6 months when I had 20 people watching, nobody knew anything about what we do. And we were just doing our best every day. And every day, people screaming about Putin has a disease. Putin, he'll be dead in a week. And I was going, are you really? You're going to believe that propaganda? He's not going to be dead in a week unless something happens. They're playing you. They want you to think they're weak. They want you to think he's on the edge of death. He's quivering. He's shaking. He can't walk. They're carrying a black box to analyze his stool samples. Da, 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 da. Do you hear any more of that? No, of course not. The second thing, first 6 months, sanctions. And every day I'm on the stream, and others who know the truth. When there are, our guys will tell you the truth, all our partners, they will not work. They will work to affect Russian economics and politics to a certain degree, but not enough to stop that war machine. No way. And that war machine is growing. It's partnering with economic nations of China and India. And I shared with you guys the other day, Armenia, 5x their economic relationship with Russia has grown year over year from 23 to 24 in exports. They're circumventing sanctions. And then we will not even begin yet to discuss North Korea and Iran. So can economic pressure be put on Russia? Yes. Can it be placed on there for oil? And can it be placed on there for exports? Yes. But I believe that it will require a very bold stance from the world against Russia. So we need to continue to push for that economic alliance against that Russian war machine. The fifth one, yes or no? After the war, we will benefit the world by having the most experienced military. Absolutely. Ukrainians who have military experience and knowledge of working with international weapons. Absolutely. Especially if they receive international weapons. This is a guarantee of safety in Europe. I completely concur. This is a worthy mission for our heroes. President Zelensky was even talking about how that Ukrainians at that point in the future would even be able to relieve some of the pressures that is, for example, on the United States or Germany or other European nations by partnering together and giving some of these nations a break, because Ukraine will be such an educated and experienced war machine that they will be able to offer these services to the Western world. All of that is fantastic, wonderful, and I agree with it. But it requires victory. It requires victory. And these are not my points. These are not some analyst points. This is Zelensky's victory plan. He directly spoke about it today. Let me take a look at the poll here. How do I do that? 168 votes so far. Do you think Ukraine will be invited? Oh, I can't even type right on the computer. Be invited to join NATO officially before December 31st, 2024. And I asked you to not respond emotionally because we all would want it to be yes, 100%, but 87% no, 86% no, 171 votes, 13% yes. 13% yes, 87% no. Papa Dutch, Ukraine is the only nation in the modern era, $5 super chat, that has successful experience in modern warfare. I would add Israel to that personally. But has the most experience? Definitely Ukraine. They're doing this 24/7, 365 now, pushing for 3 years with modern warfare. And I think the key part of your phrase there is the modern era and modern warfare, specifically with drones and electronic warfare. So we can concur there. Now, let's take it a little deeper. Zelensky victory plan additional statements. These are statements that are not a part of the plan, but other statements he made. We will be able to end the war by the end of 2025 if the plan is supported. Vladimir Zelensky. I agree with that. Listen, if Ukraine was in NATO and real economic, forget the other points. Honest to goodness, guys, forget the other points. Forget Ukraine can be a big help for the world stabilization in the future. That's great. It really is, but it's not going to win the war. What else was there? Economic, absolutely. Third, place on our land, a deterrent package. Yeah, that's great, but it's not going to win the war. What's going to win the war is 3 things, 2 of which are on his list. Number 1, Ukraine being invited to join NATO. And I mean, not just an invitation, but being in NATO, where there are the agreements and the articles that kick into place. It has to happen. Number 2, can it happen? Yes. Is it going to happen by December 31st, 2024? 86% of you saying no, 182 votes. I voted no. Not before December 31st, 2024. Maybe 2025. We'll see. But the second thing is, not only in addition to NATO, is economics. And that is not actually on Ukraine. That is on the world. That is on the world led by the United States and the European Union, exerting a massive amount of pressure on nations like India and China and Iran. And when that begins to happen, life will change for Vladimir Putin and that Kremlin war machine. So those are 2 that, in my humble opinion, must happen. And then thirdly, the plan must be supported. He went on to say, Russia must lose, and I highlighted that in red for you, must lose the war. I'm looking at some of the chat right now. Russia must lose the war. This is not a freeze, nor a trade in territories. That kind of goes back to Ukraine's assault into the Kursk Oblast, into the Kursk region. It's not that Ukraine wanted to take territory and then trade that territory for Lugansk. That had nothing to do with Ukraine's incursion into Russian territory. Zelensky made it very clear. We're not about trading territories. We don't want to hold on to their territory. That's their sovereign territory, but not our sovereign territory. But we've learned over the weeks that have passed since this incursion happened, it was Ukraine flexing with their ability to wage real war, to take territory, to move and do things that the West probably didn't expect, and allow that to be a negotiation tool or a bargaining chip or an example of validation of what Ukrainian army and that nation is capable of. That's the ultimate reason. He says, we're not about trading territories. This is not a question at the end about the sovereignty of Ukraine. Meaning, back to the earlier questions we're talking about, at the end of this, when it's over, Ukraine will hold Lugansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhia, Kherson, and Crimea. If Putin achieves his goals, he goes on to say, it will signal to other terrorist nations that the same is possible for them too. 100% agree. We're watching that right now. We're watching other places in the world. We're seeing terroristic regimes such as that war machine that is ramping up through Iran and its proxies in the Middle East. We're seeing the Russian war machine that they call and they organize into their private military groups rolling around Africa, wreaking havoc, partnering with China to absolutely destroy that continent. It's all happening right in front of us. We are watching China surround Taiwan and flex, play their war games, push the envelope a little bit further. Nations are watching what is happening inside of Ukraine. That's why Zelensky said that. He's spot on. Now, here's what's really cool. Here's what's really cool. Ukraine is at war now with 3 countries. Thank you, President Zelensky, for having enough backbone to call it. He said, we are at war with Russia, of course, but we are also at war with the nation of Iran and the nation of North Korea. My friends, those are strong, bold declarations. Zelensky is not a deputy from, he's from Kryvyi Rih. That's his home city. He's not some deputy from Kryvyi Rih. He is the president, sitting president of a war-torn nation who right now is one of the most prominent, well-known, whether people like him or don't like him, trust him or do not trust him, most well-known politicians and global leaders on the planet right now. And he is calling out Russia, of course, but he's calling out Iran and North Korea. And by the way, guys, for those of you, and this is a different topic, we'll talk about it at a different time. If you think there are just engineering units from North Korea inside Ukraine, I'm sorry to inform you today, there are troops there. There are special North Korean forces inside sovereign Ukrainian territory. They're not just there engineering to help them launch the North Korean missiles. They are developing their own North Korean units. It is happening right now on sovereign Ukrainian territory. He goes on to say, intelligence records not only confirm now the transfer of weapons to Russia from North Korea, but also the transfer of people. This is President Zelensky's victory plan. Let me go back to the poll. 201 votes. Do you think Ukraine will be invited to join NATO officially before December 31st, 2024? 85% no, 15% yes. I concur with the poll, 85%. I don't like it, but I asked you to vote tonight, not emotionally, not out of hope, but out of reality. We're talking about within the next 13 weeks, 12 weeks before the end of the year. Now, let's focus on that NATO thing. Initial response to point number 1. They're already happening. The United States immediately rejected the first point of the victory plan, and this is a quote, "We are not at the stage now when NATO is ready to invite Ukraine to itself in the short term." Ambassador Juliana Smith, the permanent representative of the United States to NATO. On the same day, the plan was made public by President Zelensky, open for the world to see. the United States Ambassador Juliana Smith. This was not Joseph Biden. This was not the Pentagon, but this is our ambassador, permanent, represented the U.S. to NATO. Said we're not ready for that yet. We're not at that stage. And then Mark Rutte, the new Secretary General of NATO, immediately came out today. You guys can go Google it and go look it all up. NATO remains non-committal on Ukrainian membership in the short term, meaning he's saying the same thing Juliana Smith said. We're not ready for that yet. Let's just make it simple. Let's interpret it. We're not ready for that yet. My friends, number one has to happen. It's not my plan. It's not your plan. It's not some AI generated plan. It's not some military analyst plan. Although I'm sure President Zelensky had military advisors. This is President Zelensky's plan. Number one, the first is the invitation of Ukraine to NATO. At that point, that then places us into position, as Podolyak was saying, that we can achieve some military victories. We can have an alliance. We can have an economic defeat of Russia if the world will stand together. And at that point, Russia can then leave our territory, and then not spoken, but understood that at that point, Russia will implode from the inside. If the alliance invites Ukraine, it changes the playing field immediately. And not just the invitation, but the actual membership. You know, there's one thing to be invited to a wedding, and there's another thing to go to it. This is, the invitation is step one. Step one. But that membership that would come would change things immensely for Ukraine and for the world and for Russia. So that's what we're dealing with there. And then secondly, back to the economics. These things coincide. Ukraine wins the war. Russia is defeated on the battlefield, certain places. Other places, they leave, withdraw, restoring Ukrainian sovereignty. And then Russia implodes from within due to losing in Ukraine, withdrawing on portions, and economic destruction inside, revolt inside in Russia, and they are changed from the inside out. That's the victory plan. I see that as a possibility. I see that as a possibility, but not in 2024. Very little is going to change through these autumn months. We talk about it nonstop. I want to say thank you guys tonight. We are at 6:19 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to catch up with the chat. 219 votes, 86% no. Do you think Ukraine be invited to join NATO officially before the end of the year? I want to thank you guys for helping us to help Janine. Please, if you have not, please do so. That would be great. She's a volunteer. It should be still pinned. Yes, on her Ko-Fi or on her PayPal. Let's help her get this done. I want to do a 3 or 4 minute call on the flag. So starting now, let's see, it's 6:20 Eastern Standard Time. So let's say in about 3 minutes, if you have not registered for the flag, the mods are popping the link back in there again. I remind you that this is the flag here, autographed directly on the front by Hero Fish and his partner on the actual zero. I would love to tell you exactly where, but I just can't. But here is the autograph. There's the picture of Shevchenko. These are very, very special. And this is the one right here I will put in the mail tomorrow. So 2 more minutes. And when it hits 6:23, we'll spin the wheel on that. While we're doing that, while we're waiting for that, let me go to the chat and make sure I'm all caught up here. I want to thank you guys for your support. Thank you for your super chats, for your direct donations. Thank you for helping Janine tonight. Minister for the Recovery of Stolen Toilets, member for 5 months. Did this work? Yes, sir, my friend. That worked. And we got your message out and appreciate you so much. Papa Dutch, $5. Aid from Western partners does not necessarily mean complete weapon systems. It can also mean the ability and technology required to create them. I think that is a very good point. The only issue then, Papa Dutch, is time. It's kind of like right now the game Russia is playing, and you guys know that they're playing it with Iran and they're playing it with North Korea in exchange of weapons for technology. And it's obvious, and it will continue. Ukraine, of course, needs the technology, but right now I'm just going to be directly straight. We need to stop the advance right now. Mobilization is one issue. We've talked about that. We talked about it the last few days, but we need to stop the advance. We are looking at a very tough situation down in Pokrovsk if we lose the coal processing plant. And we will talk about that on the next live. I'll zoom in and show it to you guys. Alistair Fitchy, India has just said no to the BRICS hegemony. India has just said no to the BRICS idea. And then I'll go to learn that language. Okay, Alistair. They have said no, but they continue to purchase. So for me, BRICS is a fallacy. BRICS is a failure already from the get-go. It's not a big blip on the radar. The big blip on the radar is we can say no to whatever we want, but if we continue to do business with the warring nation, it's still a significant problem. Niels Clement, member for 8 months, conductor. Thank you so much, Niels. Ukraine be invited? It's never going to happen. But Ukraine can apply for admission to NATO. I'm sure they will be welcome when Russia is out of Ukraine. You're making me restate what I've said from the beginning. And that was a lot when folks were not here. I personally do not see Ukraine being admitted as a full member to NATO while the war is still ongoing. I hope there's a different outcome, but I'm not sure that happens. So we shall see. We shall see. President Zelensky made it very direct, very clear today for the world. Niels Clement gifting the 10 memberships tonight. Thank you for that. End Time Independent. How does the U.S. get Turkey on board for NATO? That's a great question, Nick Suter. It's a great question. And thank you for that super chat, my friend. I don't think they do. Okay. You're going to make me go on a different topic right now. Okay. And this is just, if you have not signed up for the battle flag, make sure you do, or we gained 8 more responses in the last 60 seconds. So please sign up last minute. Nick from End Time is now pushing me to a different topic. He's talking about Turkey. How do you get Turkey on board for NATO, accepting Ukraine? That will be connected to Israel. That will be connected to Israel. You asked, I answer. I can't lay it out for you logically right now, but for sure it will be connected to Israel. Why? Because there is a circle of connectivity here, and Turkey is a big player right in the middle of it. You have the United States right now sending air defense systems and soldiers to Israel. You have the United States with new aid coming to Ukraine. Then we're moving in the election. You have Turkey sitting on the fence, supporting NATO by word, supporting in some actions, at the same time supporting the economy of Russia, because Rosatom, look it up, guys, Rosatom is in Turkey assisting building a nuclear power plant inside Turkey that generates income for the Russian war machine. Who owns and founded Rosatom? Vladimir Vova Putin. Vladimir Putin, Rosatom. So Turkey, at the same time, hates Israel and stands against any support for Israel. Are you getting where I'm going? Okay, you want Ukraine in NATO. Okay, then stop supporting Israel. This is where it's going to end up. I'm not a prophet, never claimed to be. I do love history, and I spend a lot of time in these places in the world, Ukraine and Israel. That, in my opinion, is where it's going to end up. There is going to become a bartering system take place for some of these NATO members where they're going to say, okay, if you want Ukraine in for this, then you're going to make a deal for that. Prof. Gertis is in the chat. Words are easier than actions. Exactly, Prof. There will be a negotiation. And Nick, thank you for asking that question. Guys, 60 seconds and we're going to spin the wheel. We need to do a whole video on this. Nick, you're blowing my mind.
Слава Україні!
Listen, Nick Suter. Prof, I know you're hearing this. It's interesting thought here. Turkey's a major player. Ukraine wants in NATO, but Turkey wants everybody out of Israel, especially the United States. There's going to be something here. We'll see. We'll see. I'm throwing it out there, and the video will be here. There will be a connection. All right, let me pull the link up. Thank you guys so much tonight. Thank you for helping Janine. Thank you for helping us. Let me make sure I got everybody here. Darren Vaughn, when does season of mod begin? Well, Darren, I don't know how to answer that, but I do know when deer season begins, and I'll be down there. Camila Matson, Swedish Crones 27, thank you for your support. Minister for the Recovery of Stolen Toilets, you got to do it, brother. I got to give something today. Australian $2. Also, once again, thank you to Australia for sending support to Ukraine. Darren Vaughn, season of mud, that is. Season of mud. Right now, and I know you're asking about Ukraine. When does the season of mud begin? Right now. Because the frost have just started. And it's not so much about the rain and the snow, but the mud actually starts because Ukraine is much like Pennsylvania. For those of you that live in the northern part of the United States, weather's similar, and the frost is actually what begins to destroy the ground. And it's already happening in western and central Ukraine and now pushing into eastern Ukraine. And guys, I was on a call today earlier with some people and just talking about Ukraine, and we went into the conversation about mud. Let me tell you how bad the mud is in Ukraine. Since you asked the question there while I'm getting the wheel ready to spin. I was going into Chasiv Yar with Zhenya early in the war, and we were delivering some aid, and Bakhmut was being fought over, and we were just right there at Chasiv Yar, and the artillery was going crazy in Bakhmut, and incomings were coming to Chasiv Yar. We went in with the military at a certain time, all the red lights, body armor, darked out, night, middle of the night. And let me tell you how bad the mud is. I'm not 6'4", although I play 6'4" on the internet. I'm 5'4". And I will never forget this. I jumped out of the truck because when we arrived, military's there with us. We were dropping aid and they said, we gotta go quick. Pitch black. I had a little teeny red light under my hat so I could just see the ground. And I jumped out of our truck, full body armor on, it's very heavy. And when I jumped down, I went straight into mud. I tried to lift my foot out of the mud and I could not lift my leg. I could not move. I literally had to untie my boots and a big soldier came over, lifted me out of my boots and carried me into the building where the soldiers were. That's the mud in Ukraine. It is not sloppy. It is like quicksand and standing in concrete. We should have taken a picture. My boots were there, but there was no person in them. They picked me up, carried me into the building. Crazy experience. So there's the mud. All right, guys, we have everybody in here. Thank you. 118 responses tonight, and we're going to spin it. I'm grabbing your names right now, and then I'll do this live for you on the screen. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I'm saying right now, good luck to everybody. We're going to our random name picker, and I'll share it with you right now. Putting in the list of names. They're all there. I saw Carl Elwell, my man from Vegas. Everybody's in here. And then we're going to have one winner. And we'll do spinning names. Or is it Wheel of Names? Yeah, Wheel of Names. And then colors. You know, I've been talking about that mud and frost on those misty mornings. So we're going to go misty morning. Come down, and there it is. Everybody's name is on the wheel. And I want to say good luck to everybody on winning the battle flag. If you win, you have 2 minutes to say I'm here in the chat. Mods, thank you for helping me do that. And we are spinning right now. Good luck. Drum roll, please. And the winner is... Oh! Holy moly! Minister for the Recovery of Stolen Toilets has won the flag raffle tonight. Okay, that's crazy. Minister for the Recovery of Stolen Toilets. Are you here? Are you here? I think he's here, isn't he? Minister, you got to say hi. Is he here? Any of my mods, is he here? Is he here? I thought, get out of here. He's here.
Слава Україні!
Okay. Why am I loving this so much? Okay. Because the man was trying to communicate with us all night and couldn't, and then he wins the flag. Wow. Congratulations. I will send you an email immediately. So just email me your postal address, my friend, and we will get it out to you. Let me go back to the poll as we close out. 254 votes. Do you think Ukraine will be invited to join NATO officially before December 31st, 2024? 86% no, 14% yes. So we'll see. Guys, all I can do is say thank you. Let me go back and make sure I've got all the Ministry for Stolen Toilets. I got to get... Y'all have to understand why I was so excited, because he was trying to super chat and it wouldn't work. And then he posted a message to get it through. And then at the end, he said, I've got to give something today. And he gave a super chat of Australian $2. I got to give something today. And then he won the flag. Congratulations, man. I'm really happy. I'm happy for everybody that wins. Papa Dutch will close out $5. Someone should write a book entitled The Fundamental Interconnectedness of Putin's Garbage. Well, the professor is in here. Greg, make sure Aussie T is not blocked. No, Aussie T it is not blocked at all. No, I haven't blocked anybody in months. But we will double check on it. Aussie T, if for some reason you're unable to chat tonight, we didn't do anything at all. And we thank you for your support of Ukraine. So I think that's where we're at, guys. What incredible, incredible time. Thank you to everybody. Thank you for being here. Prof, thank you for being in here. Make sure you guys support Professor Gertis. Also, In Time was in here tonight with Nick. We had a great piece last night. Go check that out. We appreciate every one of you guys. You guys be blessed. We'll see you tomorrow with some updates. I am working on a video piece now specifically about North Korea again. I've already put one out, but today I received some more information from some Ukrainian buddies on the front there, specifically in regard to North Korea. Probably put that as a short. So keep your eyes out for that and our next live stream as well. You guys be blessed. We appreciate all of you. Yeah, you know, I do want to say this. The stream has been weird. For example, Nightbot wasn't working at the beginning and people were not able to send messages. So it may just be YouTube if you guys are having issues chatting or something tonight. It is not our policy to block people. In fact, the mods do such a great job, even if people are in here trolling and trying to stir trouble, they are given such a long leash because we want to educate people and show people we care. So thank you for that. How is Zhenya? Zhenya is doing okay. He is improving, but step by step. So you will see him here. Maybe I'll get him on here tomorrow, Friday. So we'll see what we can do. He's very busy and dealing with his health as well. So thank you guys for your kindness. And I would like to say, as we close out, thank you for being here. Thank you for commenting, liking, subscribing, sharing, telling others. You guys be blessed. And at the top of the list, thank you, moderators, because I had no way I could do this without you guys now. Such a massive support system. And I thank you deeply from the bottom of my hearts. Together, we are all making a difference. Thank you. Be blessed and see you soon.
Слава Україні!